Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Today is October 23rd, 2015, and one of the big media stories today, aside from the hurricane, was that there was this major tragedy in France. A bus transporting mostly elderly people was supposedly hit by a logging truck, killing 42. And they're saying this is the worst tragedy in France since 1982, 33 years earlier. As you watch this reporting from CNN, please notice how many times they put up the number 33 on the screen. At the end of this video, we will talk about how 42 and 33 connect. I also want to show you how many more times 42 was coded into this story other than the amount of dead on the bus.
50 people who were on that bus, mostly elderly people, who had just embarked on that bus journey a couple of moments before. The accident happened at around 7:30 in the morning, and as you mentioned there, it was a very narrow road, one that has only one lane in either direction, called the D17 highway, which is down that Bordeaux-Gironde region, and the numbers are just staggering. 42 people were killed. There's 8 other people who were on that bus, and of them, 4 of them have severe injuries. Some of them have burns. Some of them have other injuries. 4 of them managed to escape a little bit unscathed. Of course, emergency services are very much on the scene, have established a center there. We've been getting some live video recently, helicopters on the scene, as well as the French authorities try to deal with this. And the French president, François Hollande, who was actually in Athens today, was saying that it is a terrible tragedy. Everything is being mobilized, and the interior minister will be on his way there, the prime minister as well.
The shock seems to be that the high number of casualties from what was apparently just a head-on collision, but it does seem as though somehow a fire was sparked.
A fire was sparked. It was a head-on collision, and not between a car and a bus, but it was a truck that rammed into this bus.
And it could have been downhill, considering the road.
It could have been downhill, but the other thing was also that the truck was carrying timber, so it did have quite a heavy load on it as well. And somehow, as you say, this fire broke up, and that's why you have those 2 victims that have burn wounds, because the bus was just completely engulfed in flames. Really a horrible tragedy.
And it certainly is looking like one of the worst bus crashes ever, certainly in Europe.
It is one of the worst bus crashes in Europe. In recent times, there have been some bus crashes in Eastern Europe. There have been some in Germany. In France, the last bus crash of this magnitude happened in 1982 when 52 people were killed. So it has been quite a while since you've seen a bus accident of this magnitude. But of course, we know those European roads, they are quite narrow, they are quite winding, and especially if it's traffic coming head-on on a road that only has one lane, it is something that's certainly where the drivers need to have extreme caution. So there's also an investigation that's been launched as to how exactly this could have happened.
All right, Truth Seeker. So there was the mainstream reporting. What I want to show you is how many times they coded 42 into this. And again, this is another perfect example of how our media manufactures stories by the numbers. And so often they manufacture these stories of tragedy because the news is hell-bent on programming people with negativity. When people are exposed to these negative news stories, it impacts them in a negative way psychologically, unnecessary anxiety, unnecessary sadness. The reason they do this to us is because they are interested in controlling us as a populace, and when we feel these negative emotions, we are more easily controlled. So anyhow, they said at least 42 people were killed on a bus. Notice that the word bus in simple English gematria sums to 42. That's the first major clue that stood out to me. Bus equals 42, 42 dead people on a bus. Then from the reporting, we have this witness here. It was a bus carrying elderly people, said Mail Gohad. Mail Gohad in gematria sums to 42. This is the Pythagorean gematria method. If you're new here, I'll show you this real quick. There's a gematria website, writingthebeast.com. They have a gematria calculator. If you go to English reduction, you can just copy and paste words into here. And this is the same as Pythagorean gematria. You can see that the name sums to 42. And if you want to do simple English gematria, it's called English ordinal. The word bus equals 42. And the people who are responsible for this largely in the media are the Freemasons. The word Freemason has Pythagorean gematria 42. The big way, Freemason sums to 96. And that is interesting because the ranging degrees of Scottish Rite Freemasonry are 31, 32, 33. When you add those numbers together, it sums to 96. The highest degree, 33, as shown all through the news footage we just watched. The headline up above Truth Seeker has emphasis on great tragedy. In Pythagorean gematria, that sums to 59. In Jewish gematria, that is the kill number. So they're emphasizing the kill number in that great tragedy with the headline. All these 33s. The BBC reported that 43 people died. Most other networks reported 42. BBC had 43. The word massacre has gematria of 43. We see that number a lot in tragedy as well. The town it happened in, Puisseguin, it's probably not how it's pronounced, but that's how it looks, has gematria of 50 and 68. 68 is interesting because the date this happened on, October 23rd, 2015, has gematria of, numerology of 68, matching the gematria of the town. And again, 68, a number around tragedy a lot. Caskets go 6 feet deep, are 8 feet long. I saw the Wikipedia page up for this. For the town, there's not much information on the town, but they already had added in that 42 people had died, and I thought that was interesting. I decided to update the Wikipedia myself, but before I show you that, check this out. Notice how it says it's from 15 kilometers from Libourne. Libourne has gematria of 42 as well, just like the number of people reported dead on the bus. And the big way, Libourne sums to 96. Again, you can just type it in right here. 96 the big way, 42 the small way. The number of the story. So anyway, what I did to the Wikipedia page for this is I just updated it and I filled in all the gematria knowledge so everybody else could know too. And I think this might be a good thing to start doing to Wikipedia. I don't see why they would be so upset about it. It's just sharing more knowledge, and it's real world knowledge. Wikipedia even has a page on gematria, so I know they're aware of it. The coordinates of this town where it happened, it's on the 44th parallel truth seeker. I just want to show you what 44 and 59 have to do with each other. For those of you who are new here, the word kill has simple English gematria of 44 and Jewish gematria of 59. Numbers also coded into this story of death and tragedy. So this is what I mean when I say hoaxes by the numbers. This is just one more video to back up my point. For 10 years, I looked at the news media and knew they were lying to us, and I noticed that they reported a lot of the same numbers in their stories often. It took me 10 years of staring at this news media to figure out gematria and how it was actively used against us. I teach it here so people can learn to see through the lies. All right, Truth Seeker, until next time.